Welcome everyone, it is Andrew here from AppleInsider with the Hue Sync Box as well as the Play light bars, and this is after the most recent update that adds several long-awaited features, including support for higher resolution content like Dolby Vision and HDR10+. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Now the Sync Box has been kind of around for a while in one way or another. Originally, Hue launched the Play light bars and then the ability to sync your computer using a desktop application, but that was still just on your computer, and then the only way to really go to your TV was through mirroring your computer to your TV, which just made the lag even more frustrating. But the Hue Sync Box goes right on your TV. It has 4 HDMI inputs and then an HDMI output to run all of your media through this box and then up to your television. Now there are various ways you can set this up, but it does include the power cable and an extra HDMI cable inside of the box, so you don't really have to provide any additional HDMI cables to get this thing working. Now we're going to set this up using the Play light bars. We've got a pair of them here. We're going to hook these things up, and there's a bunch of different ways you can configure these as well. These are just honestly great lights on their own, whether you're using them for the Hue Sync Box or you just need some great accent lights. They're small, they're compact, and they include a bunch of different accessories, including various ways to mount them. There are 2 different stands, whether you want to mount it to a wall somewhere, or if you want to mount it vertically, just on its own stand. There's that mounting hardware and then a screw to attach it to one of those 2 bases. There is a power adapter, of course, and then the Play light bar itself. So we're going to be hooking up our Hue Sync Box with these light bars, though you can use really any Hue lights that you have in your room. So these do connect over just a standard barrel connector, fine, but what's really nice is the power brick, and it's the same power brick that's included with the Sync Box. Is there are 3 inputs, or rather outputs in this case, so you can connect 2 lights plus the Sync Box to 1 power connector. And when you're throwing this behind your TV, really you need those spaces, so this is such a nice feature to have. The Sync bar here, or the Hue Play light bar, can move either way, just angled slightly so you can lay it down in front of the TV or on a dresser or a shelf, whatever it wants to be on. You can angle it that way on the back, or you can connect it to one of the 2 stands. There are 2 screw holes in the back, one in the center and one on the end with the cable. There is nothing on the other end. So you can connect the one with the cable, you can use that for the stand to mount this vertically and face it towards a wall, or what we're doing in our case, we want to mount this to the back of our television, so we're going to go ahead and screw in our flat mount here. When this is connected, not only will you be able to mount this against the wall, but this also allows you to put light directly upwards if you ever need to do that. But in our case, we're going to mount it to the wall, which means we do need to use that adhesive. It's this 3M adhesive here, just sticks right on and then allows us to mount this to whatever surface it is that we'd like to use, which in our case again is the back of our TV. We've mounted one on the left side of the TV, and we're going to haphazardly mount one to the right side as well. You can put additional ones maybe on the bottom or on the top. You can put a light strip, above whatever you got on your TV. You can put in, the signs on the big left and the right sides for even further light spacing out. There's just so many things you can do, but really any Hue lights in your room you can use to sync with the Hue Sync Box. Now on their own, these can be used as just kind of a static light behind your TV. So you can use Siri and HomeKit or the Hue app or Alexa or Google Assistant if those are more your options, but you can just use these and control them and just add some nice static light behind your TV. Honestly, I like the effect of just having a light behind the TV. It reduces the strain on your eyes and the contrast between your TV and its surroundings. You can control them easily, change the colors, all of that. But in our case, we're going to be looking at them with the Hue Sync Box, which just makes them even more cool as we sync our content from our Apple TV and our PS4 to those lights we have in the room. We actually have a bunch more lights, there's further ones back, but we're really going to focus on these 2 on the TV. Setup is a little convoluted. You have to download the Hue Sync app aside from just the regular Hue app. Then you have to go and assign the lights, create an entertainment space, tell it where those lights are in the room. Obviously it needs to know the placement so it can analyze the video and put them in the correct spots. You go through a bunch of testing to make sure they're responding correctly. Then you're going to name your inputs. Again, there are 4 inputs for you to choose from. In our case, we're just going to use 2. You don't have to use those inputs either if you're using something like a receiver and then just want to pass your receiver input to the Sync Box and then that to your TV. For each input, you can choose the mode, so video, music, or game, the intensity from low to extreme, and of course the brightness. So you choose those for each of those, and in this case it's just going to be our Apple TV to kick things off. Now, a recent update did come out that added new features, including support for Dolby Vision. That is going to be huge. So there's Dolby Vision and HDR10+. Previously, it could not sync with those. It would just pass that through, but the lights wouldn't sync. We also now have support for external remotes, so you can actually use an IR remote with the front of this guy. So whether that's a smart remote like the 7 Hugs or the Logitech Harmony, or just a spare button you have on your existing remote. So you have like one of those shaped buttons or colored button remote that you're not using, you can use that and control your sync box, whether you're turning it on or off, changing input, starting or stopping the sync, etc. So here we're just looking at some rocket footage from NASA, the Dragon launch. And we sped this up so you don't have to watch the whole thing in slow motion, but you can see how the colors in the background are responding to what's on the screen. And it's honestly very cool. It is so immersive, and depending on the lights in your room and how you have them placed, it can just really bring you into that experience and just kind of bleed the light out of your TV. Even just our menu on our Apple TV looks really cool with the sync box on. Now, if we go ahead and watch some original content so we don't have to worry about copyright issues, here we have our tips and tricks for iPad Magic keyboard review, and even there you can see all the colors on around the outside. And there is a very small bit of lag. It's much better than it was with the software on the desktop, but it is a small amount of lag. But as we were watching this, we really didn't notice it all that much. It kind of just, because it happened like at the TV and then the outside, and almost looked like what was happening was just kind of, moving outwards. And it's just a really nice effect overall, and we do not mind that small bit of imperceptible lag. And when we were on gaming mode, it was actually a little bit quicker than it was here just on regular mode. Here's a little bit of game footage with Borderlands 3. Moving on to, again, we don't want to violate any copyright issues here, so we're just going to blur this out. It's just some sort of animated show of yellow people. And you can see how great these backgrounds are and how it blends into the background of our environment. And it works even better for us because we have these white walls that really show off the color here. Honestly, we just love how this looks. Of course, this is really going to be a personal choice here, whether you like that or you don't like that. Is it annoying? Is it not annoying? I think it's great. I love the look of this. I love still being able to control those lights with my HomeKit and Siri and all that stuff, so there's still functionality there. Our biggest hangups before was that it was really hard to control everything. You had to go into that Hue Sync app to change inputs, start and stop the light sync, turn it on or off, just all of that. But now, with this recent update, you actually have control through remotes, as we talked about, and through shortcuts, including using Siri. So I can just ask Siri to start and stop the sync, and it works perfectly. As you can see, we're going to stop the sync, and as the content plays, and nothing's going to happen responding to the lights. And then I can, again, either use my voice or the shortcuts app. I can add those to the home screen, whatever I want to do. It's just so much easier to change those inputs and just make this kind of work for me. It's a lot more responsive now. We had so many small issues of just not working with that really high resolution Dolby Vision or HDR10+ content, just passing those through, controlling it. This really has come a long way from when this was originally released. We are just such fans of this. We've been fans of the Hue lights in general. They're some of our favorite HomeKit gear. And now seeing the sync box just come so far and the new features they've added, the higher resolution content, we're still missing out on some really high resolution audio issues that it's kind of passing through. But for the most part, this has been absolutely outstanding in our experience. Whether or not you like it, though, is going to be up to you. And I'd really like to hear what you guys think. This is such an interesting device. And right now, our only big hang-up is just the cost of putting this unit together. The box is over $200, and you have to buy those lights to work with it. Now, if you already have lights, like we already had Hue lights going around, so it wasn't as big of an investment to get there. But if you have to kind of buy into the ecosystem in general with the bridge and the lights and the sync box, it definitely gets very, very pricey. But if you've already got the sync or the Hue setup going, this is just kind of a smaller addition to add some really amazing functionality. Setting this up with a great soundbar, your great TV, the lights, everything together. It's such an immersive movie watching or game playing experience. If you want to grab this or any of these accessories, go ahead and check out the links down below in the description. We've sourced around the best prices so you can save some money on all of this gear, and I want to hear what you think over on Twitter. Find me at Andrew_OSU. Hey everyone, did you guys like that video? Be sure to click on that like button so we can create content that we know that you guys want to see. And follow AppleInsider on all social media channels. If you want the best prices on any Apple gear, check out the AppleInsider price guide that is updated daily. And until next time, we'll see you later.